Okay, hello everybody out there in Liferay community land. It is 2 p.m. GMT, August 26th, and we are beginning our third, actually fourth, dev.life session. So if you're new to dev.life, we hold every 2 weeks a hangout on Google Hangout where we cover developer topics for Liferay. And these are not one-way presentations. These are interactive hands-on workshops where you learn new things about Liferay that you didn't know, or you can refresh your skills and basically build your repertoire of Liferay skills. So we do this every 2 weeks, and just a brief couple of announcements. So 2 weeks from today, on September 9th, we will have Mate Thorzo from Liferay Hungary, who will be speaking about staging and doing a workshop on staging. And then 2 weeks after that, on September 23rd, we'll have Tomas Polisovsky from Liferay. Where is Tomas these days? He is in
the Czech Republic.
Yeah, Czech Republic. That's right. He's I don't think we have an office there. I think he's
It's his. Well, he is our office there, I think.
Yeah. So he'll be speaking on creating secure and easily accessible JSON web services in Liferay. So this week, today, I'm very pleased to have Olaf Kock from our German Liferay contingency. Welcome, Olaf. Are you there?
Hi, James. Yes, I'm there.
Great. So Olaf will be speaking about and presenting on ridiculously small plugins. So if you have not had a chance yet to get set up, it might be a bit too late, but if you are planning on playing along at home, you'll need a Liferay 6.2 deployment that's up and running and a way to create plugins either with Liferay IDE or IntelliJ or NetBeans or VI or whatever your favorite developer environment is. So the session is recorded and it will appear on YouTube immediately after the live session. If you also want to ask questions or interact with Olaf, be sure to join our IRC channel. It's the channel name is the # Liferay-dev-life, and this is an IRC channel dedicated for this session and all future sessions. We'll be monitoring that throughout the session, and if you have questions, be sure to prefix your question with question : all upper caps so that we can pick them out in case there is a lot of traffic. And there is also an embedded IRC client on the Liferay dev.life homepage. If you're browsing there, you can simply type in a nickname and press connect, and you'll be in the room. Or you can use your other preferred IRC channel. And one more quick announcement. If you're interested in holding one of these sessions and you have an idea, let me know. We'll definitely get you on the calendar. And we also have, for all of our presenters, a nice cool t-shirt that I was planning on showing, but my overlay doesn't seem to work today. So you're not going to be able to see that. But it's a very cool t-shirt, and I'll show it on the next slide or the next session, and it's only for our presenters. So without further delay and babbling on my part, I'm going to hand it off to Olaf.
Okay, there I am, and as James introduced the session, I would like to make a small correction. I would rather say ridiculously simple plugins. And the story that brought me to this title is actually involvement with customers, involvements on the forums, and so on. If you know Liferay, you know that you can do so much stuff on Liferay. You can do, you can customize Liferay to whatever you want. And sometimes it is quite easy to change something. Sometimes it's harder to change. Sometimes changes are easy to maintain, and sometimes they are hard to maintain. Now, when I'm in contact with customers, I'm frequently getting asked, like, how do I do certain stuff? How do I solve this problem in the way that I've already thought of? But, and quite often I'm answering, okay, you can do this. Liferay can do this almost out of the box, but you'll need to have a small plugin for this. I think I started wrong there, but well, let's continue. So Liferay can do quite a lot, and with a very small plugin, you can do exactly what you want. Now that puts some people off because they do like to, well, they would like to have everything out of the box. But a small plugin, when I call it small plugin, is actually nothing more than a developer estimating that's good for an hour. So I'll need an hour for it, and that's it. Now, the typical project manager, whenever a developer tells you this will take an hour, they will make sure to actually estimate or to adjust the estimation to the next bigger unit, which typically is a day, which then will involve or will include also stuff like documentation and system administration stuff. Let me get this out of the way of the camera. So for today, I have 1 hour of time, and my preparation actually has brought me to the plan to actually, well, deploy or develop 3 different plugins, and you can follow along. Let me share the screen here, and on the IRC channel, I have already shared a link to a blog post that I've just wrote, and the blog post is this one. So if you want to follow along, there is a site or actually a page, a download page on my own server, and this will provide you a head start in the first portlet. So let me just open this one and show you what you find there. What you need is a customer portlet zip. This is basically a well, so to say, 0 point where you can start. I generated it by just going to XML Portlet Factory, and you can follow the link here and see what it does. So this one will generate a portlet, actually 2 portlets, one for customers and one for invoices that I'm going to use as a starting point for these demonstrations. So when you download this project and you unzip this in your plugins SDKs folder, then you actually get exactly the starting point that I'm going to get here. And let me demonstrate if I find my shell. Here it is. So I have downloaded it, and I'm going to unzip it right in the portlets folder, and that's it. So I now have my customer portlet and can go to my developer environment and import this from my SDK. Import Liferay projects from SDK. Next, choose my SDK where I unzipped, and
Okay, well, we seem to have lost Olaf. Let's see if we can get him back here. Olaf, are you there? So if you haven't had a chance, check out his blog post and download that zip file. It's kind of a shortcut to what he's going to be speaking about. Hopefully, if we can get him back. Here he comes. Hey, are you back, Olaf?
Where did I cut out?
You were just about to import the project into your IDE.
Oh, okay. So I did this, and I now have the customer portlet in here, and it will have several problems, as you see here. That's basically just because this is exactly what XML Portlet Factory generated for us. Oh, let me share my screen again. Probably don't want to see me when I'm pointing at the portlet. So I have the customer portlet here, and that's exactly what I got when XML Portlet Factory generated this stuff for me. The raw file is also linked, so if you want to start with XML Portlet Factory, everything is fine. You can do just this. Now, first thing to do here in order to get rid of the of all of the compile errors is to build services. XML Portlet Factory is based on Liferay Service Builder, so we'll have to build the services in order to compile everything. So James, let me know if the font size is okay. I've tweaked it a bit to make it a bit better readable.
Yeah, it looks pretty good, I think. If
Okay.
anyone in IRC land can't read it, let us know.
Okay. And I'm using my smaller resolution, like lower resolution extra monitor to actually be full screen, but to not broadcast high def. Okay, so that should be it. I'm done. Well, I still see some error here, but that's JSP. Let's not go for it right now. Actually, let's check what this does. It's probably just a Eclipse hiccup. Yes. So if you ever get Eclipse Eclipse problems on JSPs, cut, paste, and Eclipse will revalidate. Now, okay, let's inspect what we have here. Let's drag and drop this over to my Liferay. And you see mine is running already. So I clicked the button a bit earlier. And now let me find a browser. Yep, let's take this again. And connect to localhost, sign in, and oh, let's see. Seems I didn't get rid of the old pages. I wanted to start new, but now I have this page on here, compiling the JSPs. I believe I'm running in developer mode. Yes. So what you'll get is two portlets that you can add to the page by just clicking Add Application and filter for customer. Actually, you see you can get three portlets because I cheated. You get the customer portlet, you get the invoices portlet, and you get a create customers portlet. So this should make your life a little bit easier. I have the create customer portlets on page here, and as you see, I've prepared something for you. So when you want to create a few customers with a few invoices, just did I crash again?
No, I just turned my camera off.
Okay.
I don't want to distract people
Just
with
in the
my
corner
ugly
of my
mug.
eye. Something changed there. Okay. So I'll just create, you can just create whatever many random customers, and you can see that these customer names are somewhat random. Okay, as I already did this, I'll remove this component and show you what XML Portlet Factory does. We have a one-to-many relationship. There's the, for example, this nerd limited. If I click on this view button, you will see that my master detail relationship is actually activated. So from clicking this nerd limited, I'll see the invoices of nerd limited. If I go to death or taxes, you can see the invoices here change to the invoices by death and taxes, or invoices for death and taxes, whatever it is. So this is a very simple customer management application, just plain generated from XML Portlet Factory, just so that you can get a head start.
So there was really no development at all?
There's no development at all. The only thing that I did extra is this add portlet, which just generates random data. And you can see I cheated. I did this before when I did my test run, and I forgot to wipe the database. So I ended up with, let's see, with 10 results already in the database. Okay, Now let's go for the very simple plugins. There are two chapters basically. One is composing an application from different items. As you can see here, I have selected the death and taxes or the outgoing income company, and I'll see the invoices. Now the only hint that I am on the outgoing income company that I have is that this little arrow here is an arrow and not a view icon. Now let's change this and have something else which we'll use to compose our application. First portlet I'll do, which is really simple to build our application from, is a customer detail portlet. Now going back, I'm going to create yet another portlet. So basically create one portlet in our existing plugin, make it the portlet. Then let's go through the details. There is actually nothing much to change. So I want it to be a Liferay MVC portlet, create JSP files. Yeah, that's fine in its own directory because we'll have yet another one. So we better not mix them up. Display category, if you want the same as XML Portlet Factory, just choose customer, lowercase c, that's it. And click next, and everything is fine. Just finish. This will generate our portlet. Now, when you look at XML Portlet Factory, what it does in order to do this master detail relationship is it uses interportlet communication, an event. So let me open Portlet XML. Should have done that before. Okay. So now we have these 4 portlets in here, XML Portlet Factory generated, and then my own. Let's go for the customer detail portlet. And open this, interportlet communication. Currently it doesn't do anything. What I want to do is I wanted to be able to receive the one existing event, hey, customer has changed. Let's go in there and edit supported processing event. There's one already in this application. It's easy to choose, and that's it. Now I'm a more lazy one. As you expect, the invoices portlet already contains an event handler because it will listen to the same event. So let me open the invoices portlet. Neat trick here on Developer Studio on Eclipse. Not everybody knows this. You can actually write camel case up here and just abbreviate whatever you want. Invoices portlet is correct. And I happen to remember instead of just browsing through the whole file, Control O will open the outline, and I happen to remember that the event is called receive. Or the method is called receive event, so just RE opens the class at exactly this location. Now that I had one crash, James, let me know if I'm still there.
Yeah, you're still here.
Thanks.
Sorry.
So I just use this. Actually, while I'm at it, I just fix the typo here in the method name. So I'm going to copy this and just add it to my own portlet, my customer detail portlet, and that's basically it. So what this also does is it fires, what does it do? It fires a new event. We don't need this, so we can easily get rid of the rest. What this method does, customer detail portlet now has an event handler for this customer ID event. It gets the customer ID from the event, sets it in the portlet session and as a render attribute. This is what I copied from XML Portlet Factory. Let's not worry for the moment. Now when I do this, I will have the customer ID ready for me. And of course, I want to have it available in my JSP as well. So what I'm implementing a do method. Just override it, do view, and control space will give you the whole override. This I'll use to actually fetch the customer ID again and access the database and get the whole object. Let's
Hey,
go in
Olaf,
here. Yes.
before you go there, there's a question on IRC
Yeah.
from Lun underscore. The question is, do I have to run the service builder to deploy the customer portlet?
You'll have to run it at least once in order to fix the compile errors.
I assume by running service builder, meaning the build services ant target.
Yeah, well, you need it once, and we won't touch the services. We'll just create more plugins on top of the existing services. So the workflow is import this project, run service builder, and for this project, you'll never need to run it again.
And if you don't run service builder first and just try and deploy the portlet, what happens?
It either is automatically executed, but I doubt that it is. So it probably will deploy a non-compiling project with missing classes.
It'll probably fail the compile part because it won't be able to find the service classes.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, I think the answer is you must run service builder at least once to build the services and generate them, even if you're using the zip file that Olaf had posted.
Right. Well, definitely then, because that's incomplete. That's basically just the output of XML Portlet Factory, because I thought if everybody is going to set up XML Portlet Factory, that will just eat 10 more minutes, and that's not productive.
Yep.
Okay, now let me get my customer ID from the render request. I'll get this from the parameters. I have a new keyboard here that's hard to type. Oh, this is also a new, newly set up Developer Studio, which is missing my favorite configuration. I'm sorry, I can't program like that. I always need this in Eclipse. That's another neat tip. So if you open the preferences and the typing, just choose automatically insert at correct position, semicolon, and braces. I cannot live without. So render request get parameter, introduce a new variable, and the effect, I'll just type the opening brace wherever I want. I'm going to get the customer from our customer till. This is our service builder. Get customer with the customer ID. That's it. Actually, whoops, what did I do? Well,
I think you have to make it a long, don't you?
oh, right. I have, yeah. That's it. I was wondering, like, what's happening there. Okay, surround with try catch. Let's not stop too much at error handling. Print stack trace is okay. And just remember the render request, and I'll name this custom. And that's basically my method. Now the that I need is my Vue.jsp for customer detail portlet. I'll find that in the place where Service Builder has generated it. And in here, I'll basically just fetch my my customer. I'll not do anything really fancy with it. Customer keyboard. Wow. And if customer null, then I'm going to do my whole rest. Actually, I'll first use navigation, so kind of a neat thing in Service Builder related stuff.
Hey Olaf, can you explain that to escaped model? Because I've seen it before, but I've never used it.
Yeah, so this is part of the model classes that Service Builder generates. And imagine, I'll just, if your customer is named customer, if your customer would be named script, you can imagine this wouldn't be a good print the name to the screen. And this toEscaped model actually just escapes all of the HTML in there and escape.
And it does that for every single
single string element
in there. Okay.
Yeah. So it's quite neat. Easy trick. And I've just happened to get used to use it. So now, if I have a customer, then let's output that customer in some very simple fashion. Let's say h2 and make it get name and continue with get street.
And again, just to clarify, all of those APIs like get name and get street, that's all generated by.
Oh yeah, that's
XML
part of
Portal
the customer
entity
definition that I did for XML Portlet Factory. Sorry, I didn't show this, but it's basically when I go back to the browser. Here we have name, street, city, and zip, and that's basically what this customer is being made up of, and stored in the database. Adding things, German formatting for zips. And close the paragraph, and that's it. So let's see if this works. Saving everything, and wait a bit for redeployment. Should be done here, and now I'm going to add this new portlet to the page and see if I can find it. So customer detail, here it is. Let's drop it there. It's empty because I didn't select anybody, but if I now click the view button, hey, see, it's a lot better visible that these invoices belong to Nerd Limited. So the takeaway from this is basically you can compose your applications. You can easily just use an application or build an application from many different portlets. I have yet another one, and I think, well, the time should be good for it. There is yet another one when we think of this application as the customer maintenance or customer management application for a call center. So imagine you're in a call center, you have thousands of customers here, and in order to find one, you'll always have to search for them. Let's search. Oh, there is no radio company. Let's say there is well, there's definitely a nerd company because we already have it. Is there a Berg? No. Let's see, what do we have here? Let's say one from Chicago. So if they always call and call and call, whenever a company has called, most likely they will be calling again. Let's extend this application in a few minutes with just the most recently used customers. Hey, let's create yet another one. Create one more portlet. Go to the project, create a Liferay portlet. And I'm going to abbreviate the most recently used customer to MRU customer. Did I choose this? Well, let's choose this. And just like before, just do this correctly. Just like before, we're going to add this to the customer section. Next, finish. We have a new portlet. And let me check my cheat sheets here. Same thing as before. So we now have a new portlet. Let's open portlet XML to have this handle our events. We have the most recently used customer here. Inter-portlet communication, this will support our processing event just the same as before because it needs to register which event actually, or which customer is now the current one. Bit later, we want to also publish this event because I want to click on it, but I'll do that a bit later. So now my most recently used customer portlet is also empty. Let me open the invoices portlet again, Control-Shift-T, and then type your class name. And again, receive event. Copy this. Most recently used customer, paste, and we don't need the invoices for the moment. That's it. However, this time, let me maximize this. This time, we don't really need to remember the latest customer ID, but we actually want a whole list. Let's implement this. Okay, customer ID. And we need a list. It's the customer ID, MRU customers. And that's, let's assume we get this from the portlet session. Where do we get the portlet session from? We get that from request. Import some types to compile. Portlet and let's MRU. Casted appropriately. Luckily, Eclipse helps. So I hope this is still well visible.
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay. So it might be that we call this for the first time. So if we actually call it for the first time, let's and import, and that's it. Now what I to do is I actually want to stick in the first element, like the most recently used customer is this one. So let's say MRU customers with the index is customer. So that's basically it, or that would be it, because now the list would grow and grow and grow. And if I repeatedly select the customer, oh, well, let's actually play this game. Well, let's not let it grow too fast. Let's say if let's just grow 5 elements. And then remove. So that would be it. Now, last thing is we'll need to remember this this list somewhere. So, whoops, console gets in my way. Portlet session set attribute, and I've named it MRU customer. How did I name it? Customer IDs. That should be the method. Actually, I'll need one more correction, but I'll show you what this does up front. In order to show you what this does, we'll need to actually make it show something. MRU customers will need to pick up the list. Well, actually, the list is a list of customer IDs. We could as well, well, let's fetch them first in the doView method, because it's easier to store the string list somewhere, make this actual customers. As soon as we render it, let me copy my portlet session because I'm going to need this again. So we'll get the portlet session, we'll get the most recently used customers. And again, if they're 0, then we'll just create one. Now we're going through, or we're going to create a list for all of the customers. Typing on a new word, not fun, I'll have to tell you. O for all of the imports, and actually go through the list of IDs. For string customer ID, the customer again from customer local service util. Let me make this a bit bigger so that you can easily follow along. So customer local service util, customer of customer ID. That should be it. Again, this throws an exception. Let's not get stopped with proper logging and so on. So we now have a list of just customers. that we can use in our doView method, and we're going to remember them. So, whoops, render request. We have remembered them, and my view JSP should be this one, the MRU customer. Now this is of all recently used customers. You're quiet, checking if you're alive.
Still here. I'm furiously typing as you type along.
Oh, okay. Should I let me know if I should go slower or explain more?
No, I just wondering if people are using IDEs and all these autocorrect stuff, if they know all the shortcuts.
I hope that whoever is using VI or Emacs knows the shortcuts. Which brings me to, do you know a great way to generate a random string?
How?
Just put a random Windows user in front of VI and tell them to quit.
That's like serious entropy in that.
It is. Whoops, so here it doesn't. Customer import.
So Olaf, as you're typing, so you're just basically, I just want to make it sure and people know what you're doing here. So you have a pre-created portlet, which was generated by this tool called XML Portlet Factory, which is not part of Liferay,
Yeah.
but it's a tool that takes an XML file and it generates a whole CRUD portlet and generates all the services for you. So that's where you're getting all these APIs. And now you're building very simple plugins that feed off of the events that XML portlet generates.
Yeah, that's basically for the scenario you have or you are building a business application. I didn't want to build a proper customer management system, which would have taken months. So I'm just using this as a sample and as a kind of food for thoughts. How can you architect your application when you build it on a portal? Should you build one customer management portlet and have everything in there, like you build your classic web application? Or should you rather compose your application from many different building blocks and have many building blocks basically follow the same pattern?
Right, right. And
So
several of the Liferay portlets also generate JSR 286 events as well. So you could build the same kinds of simple plugins on top of those as well.
yeah, I'm not sure of events. I know that there are some public render parameters.
Okay.
So for example, Asset Publisher is listening to tags and categories, public render parameters, and they, for example, get generated by the tags navigation, categories navigation, tag cloud, and so on. So you can easily try that if you have tags, if you have categories on your site, if you're using them, add an asset publisher and add the tag navigation or tag cloud to the same page and just select a tag. Same with categories. And
Okay.
that's working on public render parameters. Not quite aware. If somebody is aware of any events that Liferay is actually using out of the box, I'd be curious to know about them. Would be easy to look it up, but I won't do it right now.
Right, but that's kind of the promise of events, is that you can essentially treat it like an API to some application that you didn't build yourself, that you've just been handed, and you have to build something on top of that. You can do that through events.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
So why is it? I was wondering why it was complaining. So I'll open my loop again, and just like before, let's escape it and actually generate the list with just this customer. So that should be good enough for our list, and I save all. Basically just generated the list of the most recently used customers. We're not yet done, but you'll immediately see why we are not yet done. Now let's add this MRU customer to the list. We didn't use anyone recently, so let's open this list again and just search for, or just use Nerd Limited, and let's see, hey, look at this, recently used Nerd Limited, recently used Dull Test. Oh no, that's the street, so indoor clothing and so on. Now, what I didn't do yet, let's do a little bit of debugging. Let's say I use Nerd Limited again. We probably don't want them to appear twice in the list. So that's the one change that I'm going to do right now, which is basically in the event handler. I have this event handler where I add the customer to the list up front. Before I do that, I'm going to remove the customer ID before I add it to the front. And that's it. So now let's choose death and taxes. Let's choose outgoing income. And now let's choose death and taxes again. Now you see death and taxes only in there once. So Nerd Limited, I'll probably need to remove twice. Yeah, you see only one instance is being removed, but hey, this is a quick demo and I won't assume that anybody updates their portlets that often. So now with these recently moved, of course, I want to click them as well. And that will be the last part of this exercise. That's actually quite easy to do. What I want to do now is to generate an action handler so that I can click these and have the same thing as just as with the selectors here up front. I'm wondering, James, how long is this session planned for an hour or for 90 minutes?
The maximum is 90 minutes, so anywhere between 60 and 90 is fine.
Okay, so I'm wondering if I rather continue with this exercise or do the third exercise right now and maybe come back to this. So all of the source code will be available. I'll just upload that to the same location and update my blog post as well. But you can easily imagine that now that I have my recently used customers here, I also want to click them and come back to them a bit later. Let's see. Well, in order to just do a showcase on the third kind of plugin, because that's something completely different, let me first stash this and come back to it later if we have some time later on, if you're okay with it.
It's fine with me.
Okay. So these were basically scenarios asking you to compose an application or to consider to compose an application of many different small building blocks. The last one is this one, which is still an empty page. And the empty page, to fill the empty page, you need my story for it. Liferay's user interface in terms of content management. When you want to add some content some content to the page, and you want to write an article right here, you will see that the content management editor, new installation, so it's compiling JSPs in the background. So the content editor is really complex. So if I want to have some demo text and I want to write something more than just English, let me just fetch my favorite blind text. I'll make my life easy and just select some English text. You'll have to bear with me. This is English, as you can see. Now, if I want to translate this to German, I'll have to save it as draft. I'll have to add a translation. Whoops. Add a translation. Say, okay, let's make it a German translation. And I'm going to take another text generator, let's say this one. This is obviously German. For those who don't speak German, it doesn't make any sense, or well, not quite a lot. So now let's translate this text and make it German. Here we see, okay, demo track text translated to German. I can give an abstract and so on. Save. Works quite well. Now I have the default language, I have the available translation, I have my text. I can also give some abstract, I can do some categorization, I can schedule this article to expire, to never expire, and so on, to choose a display page. I can do quite a lot. So just order of magnitude, I would say there's like 30 controls for any given web content. And now assume you have staff, editorial staff, that is not using Liferay every day. They'll not be trained, but they still should enter some content. Now, what can you do? A common solution that we find on forums is you can actually tweak Liferay's UI. So you can change these JSPs that Liferay's UI is made of. You can change whatever is displayed on this in this menu, and when you are done with this, you basically have a simpler editor, but you have changed quite a lot in Liferay. Now, my way to demonstrate this is actually a different one because everything in Liferay is available through the API. So what we do here is nothing else but provide a nice UI for our API. Well, a nice UI, is it a nice UI or not? For untrained users, it's probably not. For well-trained users, for power users, it is. And at Liferay, we're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. We'll need to add more features, and we'll need to make them accessible. And we need to keep the user interface as easy to use as possible. Now, for you, if you only need the German text and the English text, and always just German and English, and not any of these extra translation, at least for a certain group of authors, what you can do is provide your own editor for web content. And that's an actual quite easy task. And let me show you how to do this. First of all, I'll publish this article so that we have it and that we can see everything is working. Let me just display this page. Obviously, this bacon ipsum, you remember this is English, and just make it German very quick. Now all of the language packages are being loaded. I'm now seeing this page with all of the UI in German and with the German text. Now let's go back to English, and we're back at English. That's it. Now the portlet will be really easy, but there's quite a lot of stuff to type, and I'll probably run out of time if I'm going to type everything here. So I'm starting very simple. Let's go back to my IDE. I'll just create a new, should be a new project. It can be the same project, it can be a new one, I don't mind. Let's create a new CMS. And it's a portlet. I don't want sample code. I want it to be Liferay MVC. That's it. So now I have a new portlet project. Clean up the currently open customer portlet ones. Now within this, I'm going to create a Liferay portlet, which is the fight article portlet. MVC portlet, everything is fine. Create JSP files, yes. I want this to be added to the web content management. And incidentally, to make it easier for our untrained users also to control panel. And it will be in the site administration content section. So that's it. I have my portlet. And as I said, it's probably a little bit too much to just write from memory. I have prepared this simplified article portlet here. Let me see if I can, well, I'll just save it and open it for you in another editor to just copy paste. And I have the view page, which just contains the JSP view, so I can at least see this here. You can find this in the same location as I showed you here on my website.
Can you copy and paste that into IRC?
Yeah, it's already in there, I think, or at least it's the blog post. And in the blog post, this is the link. Or let me copy and oh, there it is. Okay, you did.
Yeah.
Okay, now let me search for my download. Open with a regular text editor. So here you have it. I have my, it's called simplified article portlet, and I'm going to just copy this whole implementation and paste it to the IDE, and then tell you what is in there. So you don't want me to type this while you're watching. Where is the IDE? There it is. Oh, I forgot to name it simplified article portlet. So good thing that I only copied the implementation. Shift Control O for organize import. Hash map is fine. Liferay service context is fine, and that should be it. Now let's go into the implementation because I chose this shortcut. Oh, actually, let me show you the view JSP first. There it is. So this JSP will build, no. So this JSP will build a user interface out of HTML editors. And these HTML editors are built like this. We have an input with a title. Then this one is the HTML editor. If you just Google for Liferay UI input editor, now that I tell you that this is the tag for the input editor, you'll find a wiki article, you'll find a blog article explaining the use. You'll give that a name, and this hints to what I'm going to do with it. So this is the input for the English text, for the English article, and it needs an init method, which we'll see below. This is a JavaScript method, And we'll have yet another input editor named DE editor. So we'll need this one for the German translation of the same article. And this gets a different init method. That's basically just documented in the use of this tag. Then for use of these editors, we need some hidden fields, the HTML editor N or EN and DE, and they get populated by JavaScript as well. And we'll have a submit button, which on click extracts the code from editor. What does that do? Well, let's look at the JavaScript code down here. So there's the init EN, init DE decorated for the portlet namespace, and it basically just gives you the initialization text. And then extract code from editor. This basically populates the hidden fields with the actual HTML text. That's it. And well, I've copied my favorite text generators, blind text generators. This is not the one. So this is my view JSP, and then I have my simplified article JSP. Let's save everything and deploy this simplified portlet. And as this is deployed, let me find my Liferay again. So I want to add the simplified article portlet to the page. Okay, not enough room. Now it works. So I have my simplified article portlet here, where I can say I'd like to give my title. And then enter some English text, then enter some German text. And that's basically it. So I didn't bother translating everything, so that will be part for you. I told you if a developer tells you it's an hour of work, then you can round it up to the next unit. So it will be a day to properly translate everything, to make it beautiful, and so on. So let's check if everything works. Now, at least here it says everything completed successfully. And let me now replace this web content display with an asset publisher, which will show us all of the articles that are added recently. And you can see this one is the one that I just entered. And if I change the whole page to German, let me do this in a more graphical way, and add the language portlet to the page. So now change to German. Then we see, oh, it doesn't work. What's wrong? This gives me an opportunity to debug and explain what we just copied and pasted for the simplified article portlet. So what does this do? This is an MVC portlet, so the action URL submit article or the action name submit article will post to exactly this method. We'll get the title, we'll get the English and the German text, and also get the theme display. And after that, with this data, we're going to add a journal article. Now, adding a journal article is not too easy, and James, I'll have to thank you for digging out the 7 cogs example, because I stole code from there and adjusted it to make use of the new 6.2 API.
Long live 7 cogs.
Yay, 7 cogs for the win. So what this basically does is I'm going to create all kinds of stuff that I'm going to use for the API. We'll need a service context, we'll need a title map, we'll need a description map. How do I know that we need them? I've looked up the API, and what I found is a method with the whopping number of 39 parameters. So this is what I need in the end: journal article, local service util, add article, which takes a user ID, group ID, and so on. And here you can actually see half of the not Java doc. Well, actually, of the Java doc, yes. Half of that.
Method signature.
Yeah, let me see if I. Oh, yeah, I can drag it. So that's the whole API. That's quite horrible, but in the end, it all makes sense. You get basically your description map, your title map, your version defaults, and some of that actually is well documented in here. So what I'm doing here is I'm creating an article. This article gets entered into the database, and you'll see here that I'm using some very stupid XML construction. So just by string concatenation to get done very soon with this exercise. This is how Liferay's web content is actually saved in the database. So English content, German content, all in one XML wrapper, and then added to the database. Where do we find it? XML content. Here is the actual content and the title and so on. I'm hard coding quite a lot of stuff here. Now, why is that? That's exactly the stuff that you have all of these extra 30 controls for. So you have the expiration date, you have the, what's this? Expiration date, the review date, and some other date. What was that?
Display date.
Display date, yes. So I want it to be immediately displayed. That's why I set it to somewhere in the past. And I don't want it to expire, and I don't want it to be reviewed. And some other parameters. This is what I need for exactly my installation. So I can choose all of the defaults here, just in order to make the UI as ridiculously simple as possible. So is there anything else that I should explain from this other than, well, in the end with this submit article, I'm going to drop everything in this monster of an API function.
You know, Olaf, I think there's another version of that API where you don't have to construct the XML in the way that you're doing. Like you can just pass like a string or something, or some HTML.
Let's check. There's the Java doc, well hidden. Let's take this one. Add article. There is. Oh yeah, there's a smaller one. How did I miss that? Content, the HTML content wrapped in XML as well, but it would be quite a lot simpler. Okay, I could have used a smaller method. That would have made my life so much easier.
Well,
why didn't we practice upfront?
Yeah, I think the dates just get set to like now for the display date, and I think they get set to zeros like you set.
Yeah. Yeah.
Luckily, it's open source, so you can go check it out if you really want to.
Yeah, right. So now let me debug what's happening here. First of all, switch back to German. Hello. English. German. Is that proper German? Because my monitor seems to be out of order. I only see this in blue.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the German flag.
Yeah, some bluish stuff here. Well, let's check what actually was added to the database. Loading the whole interface in new JSPs, compiling. So just if you see this, don't worry. This only happens for the first time that you open a given article, or that anybody opens a given page. And we have this available in German as well. And everything is there. Now I'm wondering why it wasn't shown. Save this and publish this. Oh no, it is. Wait a second. Title for my article? No. Read more.
It's probably showing the abstract.
Oh, yeah, this is showing the abstract. So let me configure this. Oh, sorry, I'm in German. So I'm configuring this in German. It's Darstellungsoptionen. James, that's display options, right?
Exactly. Very good. Very good.
So, and instead of choosing the Darstellungsvorlage Kurzfassungen, I'm going to choose the kompletter Inhalt, which is full text. And save. So now let's go back to the CMS page. Here you see my latest article is, well, the title I didn't bother to translate, but the content I did. And when I switch back to English or any other language, there we see the same article is displayed in English. So takeaway from this is if you have some untrained users that basically should not use an interface where dialogues pop up, open, where you can configure whatever, when you just want them to translate or to enter an article in English and German, go this route. If you need one or two or more fields that they actually should set, for example, tags, go ahead, add them here. It is a ridiculously simple plugin, and it's a lot easier to maintain this plugin than it is to maintain some JSP hook that modifies the behavior of our built-in web content editor. And that's what I wanted to show with this. Oh, and by the way, we go to admin and look for the content. I'm working as an administrator, so I can see everything, but your inexperienced users, they might just see a little bit of this. So if they go for the site content here, they can easily find their simplified article and have a little bit more screen real estate and basically enter their articles here as well. So you probably want to make it a bit prettier, so have a proper title, field width, have proper translations and so on, but that's in order to fill up the time for up to an hour or a day. And that's the ridiculously simple portlets. Well, at least I would say 70% or 80% of them, because we are missing out on the most recently used customers, as I did let this slip and slide. So I want this to be clickable so that the same thing happens either if I click here or if I click on the on exactly this customer. I think now we have like quarter of an hour left. Technically, I could put this in here, but we might want to check if there are some questions or if there's anything happening.
I don't see any questions on IRC at the moment.
Okay.
Hey, I got a question for you. So, well, maybe it's just.
It's ridiculously simple, anyways. So,
so in the first part of this session, you use interportlet communication, JSR 286 style. What are the other kinds of IPC that one could use with your ridiculously simple plugins?
Well, for example, as we have the asset publisher on here, Let me just show you what we can do with the asset publisher. So given that we might have, see, this is English, yes. I'm going to edit this text and just tag it, which is here in categorization. I'll tag it with demo and with Olaf. And then I'll tag this one. Whoops, this one. That's the other article that I have with, whoops, also demo publish. So now that we have some tagged content in here, actually the old name for asset publisher used to be tagged content. So now that we have this tagged content here, let's add tag cloud and tag navigation to the page. I'm going to replace the existing portlets here, just get rid of them. Well, language is small, so let's keep it here. So now I have tag navigation as well as the tag cloud. Well, not very impressive because, hey, there's only two articles tagged, and we see 2 articles are tagged with demo. One is tagged with James, one with Olaf. Now we do remember that one of these is tagged with Olaf, tagged with James, and both are tagged with demo. If I click on tag cloud here on James, would be the same as if I click on tag navigation. Asset publisher will show me everything that is tagged accordingly. So instead of just filtering what used to be configured here, it adds this content tag to its filter list. And this is being done by public render parameters. And the public render parameter is actually called tag, but the namespace, you'll have to look that up in Liferay's portlet XML.
So you could write your own portlet, just like Asset Publisher, that would respond to the clicking on the tag cloud.
Right. So you can write your own portlet that responds to it. You can also write your own portlet that sends this public render parameter and influences whatever Asset Publisher shows. Oh, and a neat trick, because this looks ugly. So I'm working with the default Liferay theme here, and this all looks very technical. And in your production system, you probably don't want this shown. Or if you don't want this shown, that's very easy to get rid of. At least if you literally want it very quick. I'm using Firebug, checking what's the class here, and look at this. This is called taglib categorization filter. Copy. Go to look and feel. Advanced styling. You can add this to your own theme if you don't want this ever. Or well, let me change this live. We have enough room here to change it live. Update my style as I type. A CSS rule for just this portlet. And in here, I will paste taglib categorization filter. And guess what I'm going to do? Save, and you see it's gone. And that's a very quick way to actually interact with some of that content. And speaking of JSR 286 stuff, are you still there?
Yes.
Speaking of JSR 286 stuff, that is, well, those are the 2 possibilities. There's eventing, where you can cascade on different events. XML Portlet Factory does a really good job on that. So it actually does cascade on those events. And your own portlets can do that as well. And I'll have to say that as I'm working in training with Liferay, we of course cover this in our developer training. There I am again. Anything else? Any more questions? I'll make this the proper, most recently used code available. We'll edit the blog post quite soon and let you know.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you very much, Olaf, and thanks for all of you who participated today. Again, this has been recorded and will be available on our YouTube channel, as well as our Google Plus page and on liferay.com/community/dev.life. So I did see one question from B. Wood. I think that's Brad Wood. He is suggesting we do a session on themes and what's changed in 6.2 and best practices on how to write themes. So I'll definitely see if we can find someone to do something on that. It's definitely an interesting topic. There's also some interesting things coming down the pipe for Liferay 7, which milestone 1 is now available. And so check that out if you get a chance. And so I guess we'll close for today. So thanks again, Olaf, for leading us through these exercises. And hopefully we'll see you and everyone else on a future session. So as a reminder, 2 weeks from today, will be Mate talking about customizing your importing and exporting, extending importing and exporting operations in the context of Liferay staging. So if you're building sites using Liferay staging, you'll definitely want to attend that one. So signing off for dev.life today.
Well, let me add one thing for those watching live, if they're still there, if they didn't yet sign off. We extended the call for paper for DevCon by 1 week. So you do have 3 more days to actually submit something for the call for paper. That was just really short notice. I think we had the call for paper open for just a very few weeks. And so we extended it as this is still the holiday season in Europe.
So that means the cutoff is on Friday, is that right?
The cutoff is on Friday, this Friday. Well, actually on the weekend we don't really work, but the website might not be available anymore. So get your suggestion in up until Friday, the last Friday in August.
Right. So, and that's for the developer conference that's taking place November 4th and 5th, I believe, in Darmstadt, Germany. Is that right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. That's going to be a really good one. So, and because all of you watching are developers and you have some interesting things to say, definitely submit your ideas for DEF CON and we'll hopefully see you in Germany. So, yeah, Olaf, any parting words?
Listen to Radio Liferay.
Yes, liferay.com/radio. Olaf does an amazing podcast and really cool information and some really interesting guests. So, okay, we're closing off. Okay. Thanks again, and talk to you in 2 weeks.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye.